15 consecutive wins. Only Everton have taken points off them, and already they've set the record for the most consecutive wins in English top-flight history. So, Ian, are we getting ahead of ourselves a little when we perhaps ask the question, are Manchester City the best ever in the English top flight?
Well, it's starting to be a relevant question, the way they're going. They're averaging 3 goals a game. As you say, they've only dropped 2 points. They're on schedule for something like about 108 points this season, and they just look in a class of their own. I think you saw it when the top two met at Old Trafford last week. City just were different class, weren't they? They played very, very well. They're fluent, they're silky, they've got goals coming from all around the team. And this season, they've got the joint best defence in the Premier League as well. So what's not to like? There have been some good Premier League teams down the years. You think of Manchester United's treble team, 1 or 2 Chelsea teams, the Arsenal Invincibles. But this team could be right up there with them.
Well, 15 games, by the way. Can everybody, just take a little chill pill? 15 right, games.
We can do that.
I remember in the 80s, Manchester United, I think, went the first 10 games winning, and then all this kind of talk started as well. Look, are they fantastic to watch? Yes, they are. Do they look as though they're unstoppable? Yes, they do. But it's 15 games. I mean, come on, really. You know, all this talk about are they the best team ever? That should not be getting thrown around just yet.
I just want to go back to Ian. Ian, for your money, who is the best top-flight team in English history at the moment? Who does City have to beat to claim that crown?
Well, you're going back just in the Premier League era.
Let's keep it to the Premier League. Yeah.
Well, yeah, keep it in the Premier League because I'm sure Steve Nicol there will have something to say about some of those Liverpool teams that he played in going back. But I'd say, off the top of my head, you'd have to say the Arsenal Invincibles. To go through a whole season unbeaten, that was quite something.
Did you ever play on a team that was better than the Arsenal team, Stevie? The Invincibles? Because that was just one season. I know you're going to say yes. But it's sustained excellence is what you're talking about, rather than 1 year being unbeaten.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it has to be over a period of time, and that period of time, in my opinion, has to be, well, if you're going to throw the Invincibles in, you're talking about really a season. But really to warrant the tag of best ever has to be over a couple of seasons for me. It can't just be.
And also, is that bar, do they have to go unbeaten? Well, to beat what the Invincibles did? Because the Invincibles, let's not forget, drew 12 games in that season. They didn't win.
May I just say, yes, it's early days. Yes, it's only 15 games in. The counter argument to that is that it's 15 games in and they've already won the title. That's how they look. That's how dominant they look at this point. That the 11-point gap is not going to be made up by Manchester United. That there's a 15-goal differential between Manchester United and Manchester City. It's everything about Manchester City right now is outstanding. Now, whether they finish unbeaten or not, that may have something to do with the fact that they have to play in Champions League as well. And the way that they're playing, both domestically and in Champions League, may keep them busy for a while now. Because if they continue to advance in Champions League, at some point, Guardiola's going to have to make priorities. And if they have a lead in the league, then that means that he prioritizes for Champions League. And at that point, maybe you're sacrificing points down the line.
Look, at the same time, as much as I understand where this discussion is coming from, and as good as City have been, they still haven't won anything. And I think we have to recognise that. As good as the Invincibles were, they lost in the quarterfinal of the Champions League that very season.
Chelsea,
you look at the for who I feel has been the best team I've seen, the 98-99 Manchester United team. I'd have Schmeichel over Edison. I'd have the entire Manchester United back four over Manchester City's back four. I'd have Roy Keane over Fernandinho. We could start going on and start to compare. I think what you're seeing, though, is a bigger gap between City and everybody else. I think that's where the rest of the league has dropped off. It was just more competitive, that 98-99 team that I was mentioning, or if you want to talk about the Invincibles, than it is right now.
I'll tell you what you can't argue with.
We can
the way they go about the game is arguably the best ever. You know, you've thrown that Man United back four in, but you wouldn't see that Man United back four playing out the way that Man City do. So, you know, to try and say the team would be difficult, the way they're going about it, nobody's ever done it, particularly in the Premier League.
It was interesting in a conversation that Guardiola had yesterday after the match where he was asked about complacency, and he was very quick to jump on and say, no, That doesn't happen here because it's not only what we do in the games, it's what we do in training. We push our players to be the best version of ourselves. Not compared to what other teams are doing, but to what we do, to play the game the way we want to play it. When you set that sort of standard and then the players answer those questions on the field, it becomes very difficult to beat.
Well, you bring up Pep Guardiola. He's now set quite a record for himself, isn't he? Look at longest win streaks in, actually, we